Hello everyone, welcome to the Data Engineers Club. This is Kaushik, and today I'm going to talk about a very important SQL question which we often face in many interviews, and that is called consecutive login date. Some of us might have already faced this in an interview, and the question is like we are given a data set and we need to find out how many such occurrences are there where a employee came to office consecutively. Some of us might have faced it like find the number of consecutive days a customer purchased a product, or find the number of consecutive days a student came to school. So let us take a look at the input data set and try to understand the question in more detail. So we have two columns. One is employee ID, another is login date. And we can see this employee came to office on 9th, 10th, and 11th January, and again 18th, 19th, and 20th and 21st of January. Okay, so there are total 7 days in a month he came to office. For the first 3 days, 9, 10th, and 11, they are consecutive. Okay, so we will create one row in our output data set where the employee ID is 1, interval start date is 9 because the first date of this interval is 9, and the end date is 11 because after 11 this employee didn't came to or didn't show up on 12th of January. So that is when this interval was ended, which is 11th of January, and the number of days between the interval is 3. Similarly, on 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st, these are the 4 days this employee came to office consecutively. So our output data set is going to have another row for this employee, which is where the interval start date is 18 and end date going to be 21, and number of days between these two dates are 4. So 4 consecutive days. So we will solve this question using SQL. So first of all, I'm using Postgre. So this doesn't mean that you have to use Postgre. There are some functions which are reserved for Postgre. I will tell you during the video that where you need to make the change to make it work for other databases. So I have already created the table and the input script, and don't worry, I will share this via a GitHub link which is available in the video description. Don't forget to check that one out. And first of all, we have created the table and insert some dummy records. Let's see. Yes, we have them. Now, what what I'm gonna do? So, as for the next step, whenever this pattern comes in the picture, like finding the consecutive days or consecutive number of login, then always think about ranks. Okay. First, we will create a common table expression. Let's name it as CTE1 as select employee ID, comma, login date, comma, rank over partition by employee ID and order by login date. We'll name it as RNK, give it an alias as RNK, and from employee login, we'll finish our CTE and select start from CTE1. Let's see. Okay, I have put up a order and here. Okay, so we have already created our ranks partitioned by the employee ID and based on the login date. It's very simple. Now, as for the next step, what we are going to do, we are going to deduct the number of days into rank multiplied by the rank from login date. So for this row, we are going to deduct 1 day from 9th of January. For the second row, we are going to deduct 2 days from 10th January, and for third row we are going to deduct 3 days from 11th of January. And how are we going to do it? We are going to create another CTE. We'll name it as CTE2 as, and we will do similarly rank and login date minus interval. So interval is a function which is used to deduct some days, or something from a any other date, number of days or months from a date. Similar kind of functions are available for other databases like date add, date part, date subtract, something like that. And you can Google it, and you'll find out date add is used for MySQL. So we are going to use interval 1 day into rank from into rank as, let's give it a name as date groups. Okay, and we'll give it as from CTE1. Okay, now we will look at the data set. Okay, so for the first three rows, okay, the ranks are 1, 2, and 3. And if I deduct 1 day, 2 day, and 3 days respectively from their login date, we are going to find out the same value in the date groups, and which is 8th of January. Now, if I see for the next four rows, okay, we can see the values in date groups is same 14th January, because we are deducting 4, 5, 6, and 7 days from their login date. Now this is where the main magic, this is where the magic happened. Now if I say that based on the value of date groups column, I can easily segregate two different occurrences where this employee came to office consecutively. Okay, so let's do it in our final select query. Here we are going to employee ID. First of all, we are going to take a minimum of login date and maximum of login date. Minimum of login date as start date, max of login date as end date, and also we are going to need deduction, which is max of login date, interval days, max of login date minus minimum of login date and interval days, but we have to add +1 because we need to count the start date, because on that day the employee did come to the office, so we have to count +1 as well. We have to add +1 with this result. Now we need to do a group by obviously employee ID, and along with that we need to do the group by based on this date group, because earlier I already told that based on this column value we have to calculate, or we have to compute the two occurrences for the consecutive login. So this date groups column is going to be in the group by, and also we are going to do a order by employee ID. Okay, I missed it. I forget to put the comma. You know, okay, so we can see that our output, this is the correct output. The start date is 9th of January, end date is 11th, and interval date is 3. Similarly, 18th and 21, and interval date is 4. Now look at this row. That for as per this row, this employee came to office only 1 day in March. Okay, if it is stated in the question that don't counter such occurrences where the employee came to office only 1 day for a month or only 1 day between a date range, don't count those. So then we have to do a having clause, having max of login date not equal to minimum of login date. Okay, now we are going to see, we don't see that occurrence. So I hope all of you have understood that how I have approached the problem and how it is solved. So if you like the video, don't forget to hit the share and subscribe button and hit the bell icon for updated and interesting contents on data engineering. Until then, thanks for watching. Goodbye.